Hey, what's going on? It's JP. Welcome to the channel. If you've never been here before and you want to learn all about looping, live streaming, and all the tools you need for the modern musician, then you've come to the right place. Have a look around the channel, click subscribe, hit the bell, and you'll know when the next video comes out. And you can even join the membership to get access to all my exclusive courses. So you guys have been awesome in the comments. When I brought the video out about the NUX dual loop stereo, there was a slew of questions, and rightly so. So I've taken some of the best ones and I'm just going to answer them here right now. And there's a couple of things that it can do, a couple of things that it can't do. But you've got to remember, at the time of filming this, we are literally on the 3rd of November right now. This is version 1 of the firmware. They may very well do updates, and they are looking for feedback. So to help NUX make this looper even better, put a comment in the comment section of what you want to see it do in the future for a future update. Right, let's get into some of these comments. The first one was, how do you do an undo? And I can't believe I didn't show you how to do that in the original video. So let me put some headphones on so I can hear what I'm doing. Again, just to show you, I'm using my Aston Stealth mic going in, and then you're hearing this out, and it's as simple as that. I've got this in sync mode, so you've got either AB sync or AB split. We're just going to call them sync or split, just moving forward, just nice and easy. So I've got it in sync mode right now, and then I'm going to put down a beatbox on the first loop, which is this one, and then I'm going to put down some melody lines and harmonies on the next one. Okay, and then it's control to stop that in that mode, as it is as you get it out of the box. So the question is, how do you do an undo? Well, you can't do an undo while it's stopped. You can only clear it. So if I was to hold down on one of these tracks right now while it's stopped, it would clear that track completely, every layer that you've done. So if I want to start them all, I can start them individually, but if I want to start them all, I'll press Control, which is start and stop all. And then I'm on the second track, as you can see right here. I'm going to hold down the record play button. So hold it down now. There you go, it's gone. So that little arrow. Hold it down again. That's our redo, and it brings it back. Now if I go over to the next track, I can't undo it. I can't do an undo. So this is one thing I want to see as an update myself. You can't do an undo on a one track. That makes sense, but it doesn't do a clear. So I'd like to be able to clear while it's performing. The alternative you can do is, while it's stopped, you can actually hold this down and you'll see the clear option. So I'm going to clear the beatbox. So if I hold that down now, you'll hear it play for a second and clear. Now that's gone, by the way. I can't get that back. It's finite. If you want to clear stuff where you don't hear it, then you hold down the stop play button. So if I hold that down, can't hear anything, and the whole thing goes. The undo is also the last recording. So if you've recorded 3 layers all in the one recording, it will get rid of that. It's not a peel. So just be aware of that it doesn't peel off each recording. It only does one. So it's either undo or redo. The next question was about time signatures. And at the moment, at the time of recording this, if we go into the drums, you'll notice we've got the drum kit here and we go into different drum styles. So if we give this a click, it actually goes over to 4/4. And at the moment, it's only 4/4 and 3/4. So someone was asking about things like 11/8. There was only 4/4 and 3/4 at the moment. The next question was about stopping individual loops, and you can do this. All right, so again, we're in sync mode, and I've got 2 parts here, and I've got the drums going. So just have a listen. Bum, 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 bum. So the question was, how do we stop an individual loop? Well, all this time you've been seeing me press this button, the control button, which is all start stop. And then if you want to stop an individual loop, you can see here in sync mode, it says record and play, and then switch the track. So this is just switching the tracks. To stop an individual loop, whether it's in sync mode or split mode, is double tap. So what we can do is I can start them here, and you can see which one I'm on in sync mode if I switch. And if I double tap, it stops it. I can even go over to there and double tap that, and of course the drums stop on the last loop by default. However, what you could do is, if you wanted to do a stop and then start again, you could start them. Let's use this one again, double tap. It's a single tap to play. However, Let's do that now. And that's fine, but what you could do is you could actually drop everything out and bring everything back again by doing all start stop twice. Of course, you could be playing something and maybe drop something out for a split second and then bring it back in. It's just a bit of a creative way of doing it. But to stop a loop, if I double tap on that one, and if I bring it back in, just one press. Now, the next question was also about saving and also switching memories. Now, if you switch a memory and you haven't saved something, it will erase it. It's not an autosave, but you can switch memories. So what I've done here is I've actually got something saved on number 2. So let's have a listen. So it's just a beatbox. So I'm going to create something on number 1. So I've created that right now, and then if I switch up to a different track and I haven't saved this, it will erase it. It'll happen at the end of the loop. Ready? And it goes straight into what we did. If I switch back down again, it's empty. However, if you've got stuff that you wanted to save at home, then you could obviously do this. You can also switch up and down using this, the actual dual foot switch. So to do that, you can go into the menu. We can scroll across until we get to the foot switch itself and give that a click. And you can have up and down, group up, group down, as you can see right there. So the A is up and the B is down. You could have it whichever way you want, and therefore as I click this, you can see it goes up and down a memory. Whilst it's playing, if you go up and down a memory, it plays it till the very end of the loop and then goes up or down. So I have this playing right now, and if I want to go down a memory, that's B. You see it flashes and then it goes. Now, just to show you how this works, I've gone back to memory 2, which is on sync mode, and you've got split mode on memory number 3, like the normal mode, like the A and the B. And you can switch between them, so there's no problem at all with that. So if I press this now, let's go up. And I can switch, obviously, over to the next track. Let's go down. Now, why would you do this? Maybe you've got an A and a B and a chorus, so you could have the split mode as the A and the B, maybe a verse 1 and then also a verse 2, but maybe in between you need a chorus where it's got 2 separate elements. So you could have a sync mode with 2 separate elements as the chorus. So on number 2 you've got the chorus with like harmonies and maybe a bass line, and then you can take them out individually whilst they're still playing together. But then on number 3 you've got your verse 1 and maybe verse 2, so you could jump between the two. Now there's certain things you can do with this dual foot switch at the moment, and they may add more in a firmware update. I genuinely don't know, but what I'm going to show you on screen is actually all the MIDI things you can do. So for example, there's so many things you can do with each track with MIDI. So if you've got a MIDI pedal, you can undo each track. So you could have 2 buttons just for undoing track A and track B. You can even adjust the volumes. You can adjust so much on there. So they're scrolling through right now, and then it even gives you things like the CC numbers and everything else. So it's really easy to program up. What I would like to see is 1 or 2 of those things come over to the dual foot switch, and then that way you basically don't need a MIDI pedal as well. However, it depends obviously on the firmware. I don't know if they can do that. Now the last thing I wanted to show you was a clear step-by-step of having 2 different kinds of drums. So I'm going to clear what I've got on pedal number 3, and I'm going to save that, which means it's clear. So you can see right now we've got a clear track. We're in split mode, so therefore it's red. So we've got this A and a B, sort of a verse and a chorus if you want to. And then we've got drum style. You can see we've got 2 individual dials there for drum 1 and drum 2. So let's go in and hold down. We're at 120 beats per minute. So I'm going to click on this to actually change things around. So I want this to be on about 107, okay? And then we're going to go to rock 5. I'm going to use the parameter one to change the variation. Make it a bit louder. There we go. Cool. Great. That's what I want. So there's our verse. All right. I'm now going to go over and click this until this arrow here is on drum 1. We're going to change over to drum 2. And then we're going to use a different kit. So let's change that over. There we go. Let's have something like that. All right. So as we go through this, 96. Now, one thing you'll notice as well, as you change the kits, the drum BPM changes as well. Again, in an update, I'd like to see this so the BPM stays the same. So now what I've got to do is I've got to go back in and put the BPM back to where I want it to be. There we go. So depending on which one I select, drum 1 will obviously be with track 1 and drum 2 will be with track 2. Bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum bum bum. And when we go over to track 2, you should hear that change. Bum 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 ba-dum 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 bum bum ba-dum 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 bum 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 bow. Now you can hear drum 2 is lower, and that's because of the volume here. So let's go to our verse here. Let's go over to our chorus. Go back. So I just wanted to show you how that's set up. Be aware that if you erase everything, it does erase the drum information as well. So you have to save it, and then that way it's ready to go. If you've got any more questions about the dual loop stereo, put them in the comment section below. I'm sending the link to this video to Nuix because this one and the last one, they want some feedback. So let them know what you want to see. Now, if you are interested in picking up a dual loop stereo, there's links in the description box if you want to go and grab one. And if you haven't seen the first video, which I did of this, that's the video that's just come up on screen.